corner where the troops at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, Nico, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn, and we have a packed house in the group message tonight.
Oh, do we? Oh,
there.
Oh, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Well, I think this is probably the best opportunity then, Marcus. Just to tell everybody, okay, thank you for everybody showing up, coming here, being part of this Chiefs Concerns family. We absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. We all hit a milestone, 6,000 followers, Marcus, is what we got on our YouTube channel. We are growing, but I think we're growing with the right people, the good people out here. And we want more people to talk about us, to get us out there even more, because we just love it. We love engaging with everybody out here, the fan base, the Chiefs people, man. This is what we love. We love doing it, but we can't do it without you all showing up and coming out here, listen to us run our mouth. At least me, so.
There we go. Ghost Hunter, let's go. 6K on to 7K. Exactly. And then right around the 7K marker, we had a lot of people message us about the trivia night. Everyone loved the trivia night. So next time, I'm already talking to our guy, Corey, the artist, is going to hook us up with some goodies. And so for the 7K marker, we got some, I think we're having potentially seven topic trivia for 7K when we get to that, hopefully in the next month or so. But yeah, and I just shipped all that stuff out to everybody. So everyone who ever won the trivia awards will be getting their goodies soon. But I want to give a shout out to Bout Time. Bout Time said he just got back from a little vacation with his wife. They just celebrated 15-year anniversary. So Bout Time, congratulations, brother.
Congratulations. Here we go. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, I just got back from Destin, Florida, celebrating 15th anniversary for my wife. Of my wife tolerating my foolishness and ready for some Chiefs chatter. Hey, we love that. We love to hear that.
Love to hear it, man. Noah Marshall said, we're here for a new announcement. Chief Concerns adding the third co-host. Welcome, Ryan Sims. Ryan Sims, everybody. No, it's silly. It's funny. No. Hey, Ryan's a good guy. He's a great guy. I don't know if a lot of people know about Ryan back then, if you following, but Ryan was one of our first-round picks, a defensive tackle a long time ago. All love to Ryan, man. All love to Ryan. Noah's good joke, though. It's funny. Yeah.
Stuff,
good,
right? Yeah.
See, all the regular people, John, Andrea, Wendy, Kathy, Ghost Hunters here. There we go. We seeing everybody. Vegas Chief, what's going on? West Coast. How's it West Coasting out there, right? There it is. Wonderful.
Yeah, packed house tonight for our Monday show, which everyone, this has been what everyone was talking about in the during the season. I remember how are you guys gonna go from doing the grades on Mondays to doing this in the off season? I think we've done a pretty good job of kind of reviewing. In a way, it is grading, but we're kind of going a little bit more in depth as far as not just grading, performances and stuff. Kind of looking at the whole scope of that position group. So it is the best way of doing that. And I think we have only 2 more weeks left of position groups that we're going to go to grading some of the draft prospects, which is going to be fun leading up to the draft, of course.
It's going to be a lot of questions. A lot of people saying a lot of different names out here. Wide receiver, tackle, defensive tackle. Where do we go? Right? And do we move up because now we got this extra pick? What's going to happen? A lot of questions there. But I'm here for it all, Marcus. I tell you what, I'm here for all of it. I look at it this way. I was just talking to my neighbor because I was out there doing some yard work. So if I'm sweating, I'm still trying to, I've been out there getting some good work in. All right. It's beautiful down here in Kentucky. So I had to take advantage of it. But I was just talking to him about some of the things. He's a big Alabama fan. We're talking about the transition with Nick Saban and, what he's kind of doing now. But I think, with this offseason, talking about the NFL where guys are going to different places, how football is just changing, the entire landscape is just looking totally different. The good thing about the Chiefs is we haven't made a whole lot of different changes. Okay. Now, obviously, our guy, JariusSneed, is not on the squad anymore. Okay. But he's still family. That's the way I look at it. He's still family. Just want to congratulate him on his new contract, going to the Titans. And, hopefully we'll get to see him. We've seen all the other, corners that have gone parted ways with us. But even when guys part ways, hey, we always celebrate people that leave, okay? Because once you family here with the Chief, you always a Chief. That's the way I look at it. Maybe some of the other people don't look at it the other way because we kept hearing all this crazy stuff when your dad tours, all these different things. We not on that over here with the Chiefs. We not on that. We're not on over here, at least not on Chiefs concerns.
No.
So,
and not many people can also leave a franchise having 2 rings in their pocket, right? So on their hands. So, like, at the end of the day, we always talk about guys who've gotten paid who want to come to get a ring. He's on the opposite trajectory where it's usually the opposite where the guy, has been paid, but he wants that ring. For him, it's okay. I got my rings. Now I can go get paid. And obviously that's not the end all be all for players, but he's already reached the pinnacle of success. He did the back-to-back. Now he's going to go get paid, and who knows? We've seen crazier things in the NFL where guys may come back at the end of their career. But for now, congrats to L'Jarius, a 4th-round guy from La Tech, a small school, getting paid $20+ million a year. So, congrats to him. That's awesome.
La Tech, baby. La Tech. But, kind of talking about them, Marcus, I do believe that teams, they look for guys like that. They have the hardware. JariusSneed is going over there. He's going to teach them so much about what it means to be a pro, how to be a winner, if they are able to receive it. And, they were saying today, man, the Titans have been stacking up. They've been stacking up, in some of the right places. But JariusSneed is definitely going to make that secondary so much better in defense. But, it's good. We able to compete against them. It's what it's all about, right? So guys move on. But, we still love it. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about it. I know that was the hot topic late last week, but we'll talk about that more in the midweek show, just kind of about the return and how we feel about that, because that's been kind of the big thing. We'll talk about that on Wednesday night. Tonight is a night for running backs, a position that JD knows so well because JD blocked for 1 million. It seems like 1,000,000-yard rushers in his career. And that's a position right now where if you look at it, it's pretty bare in a way, depending on how you look at it. You can say it's very bare based on the guys who were behind Pacheco last year who are no longer there as of right now. But if you look at the free agency list, JD, that's not bare at all. There's a lot of guys out there still. One guy I want to throw a name at you tonight. We'll get into that, but this is an interesting position. We talked about J.K. Dobbins a few weeks back. There was an interest there with us, and it's interesting because that's a guy who has all talent in the world, just has been unlucky, the injury bug, very much like our guy Jerick McKinnon, who had the injury bug, and we saw his talent over the last few years in Kansas City. But I'm very excited to look at the RBs tonight. It's a position that we're not hearing enough about this offseason, especially with the amount of guys who have left that running back room. And tonight we're going to get into it. JD, any thoughts on the RB position before we get into it?
I'll tell you what, man. I made this argument kind of last year, and I actually seen Joy Taylor talk about this a little bit, and I was just like, well, bravo, Joy, talking about it. Where to me, I feel because this is such a passing league now that running backs are not appreciated like they should be. And when you need one when you don't have one. And so all these guys that were getting like these small deals, they didn't want to pay running backs any money because they have a short shelf life. And, people, we could get a running back in the draft. We could do all that. Look, and you see it. Hey, a good running back is far and few between. A great running back is far and few between. And so when you see guys like Saquon going somewhere else, or Pollard going somewhere else, shoot, Josh Jacobs going other places, right?
Aaron Jones.
Yeah. And so when you're seeing these things happen, then you wonder, like, man, what are teams doing? And then and almost like you say, kind of like Dalvin Cook, okay, not appreciated up there with Minnesota. He's around the league. He's bouncing around. Could you imagine this? A guy that was, up there, one of the top running backs in the league, is bouncing around. Well, you see what Minnesota did with their running backs, right? They got rid of the guy that was there that was backing up. I guess you kind of feel he was going to fill out the place. It didn't happen. So I'm glad we got us a great one in Pacheco. We got some young guys kind of behind him too that I think, without a doubt, will be able to do a good job. Of course, McKinnon. We don't quite know how that is going to look, but what we're going to do. We're going to bring it back. But it's hard to emulate somebody that does such a great job in everything as a running back. Catch the ball to backfield, blocks, rushers, can call out defenses. I mean, when I'm telling you, like, the consummate pro, that's what McKinnon was. And so also too, CH, what he was able to do during this past year. I think these guys just would meddle together to make a great unit this past year on the Super Bowl run. And I think without them, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And so we'll get into, obviously we're talking about the running backs and stuff, man, but I don't think this position is appreciated enough in the NFL. And I just they just undercut running backs to me. And I absolutely hate it. Somehow I feel like they're almost like tight ends. You don't pay tight ends a whole lot of money. They do a little bit of everything. Running backs, the same thing. And so,
I feel the interesting about tight end and the running back. I feel that, and just in the last few years, obviously the contractually running backs are getting paid like nowhere near to what they were getting paid back when you were playing. But the tight end running back, it's honestly where running back has kind of gone away. JD, the tight end's become a more popular position. And that's, you can see more utilization in the passing game with your tight ends. They're really not blocking that much anymore. The tight end most of them still do a little bit of both, but it's becoming more of like another receiver kind of position now. Where running backs are just kind of being seen like phased away with having these 4 running back committees. I mean, most teams are just going with like 3 or 4 backs now, and like kind of that's how they're doing it. And that's such a tough place to be for a running back because you need continuity. Running back needs, I need carries. For me to get into the game, I need to get me a good, mix in the game, a good feel. I need to go ahead and start getting into, some type of rhythm when I'm out here running the football. So sometimes running back by committee, if you're not running the ball a whole lot, then okay, yeah, it makes a difference. But we knew, okay, with Pacheco, he had to get the lion's share of the carries this year because he's doing such an amazing job. Without Pacheco this year, what he was able to do in the running game, our offense is not the same. It's just not. He was the spark for what we needed to get to the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, with more games in our offenses, doing well. Can you imagine what our offense would have been without a Pacheco? I mean, seriously, man. So I get running back by committee, but everybody ain't the same. They're not. And so, I'm glad we decided to adopt a more robust running game toward the end of the season because we knew Pacheco was the guy that was leading. We knew he was the one that was starting to spark the fire for the offense. It took us a little while to figure that out. Okay. So when we were struggling and trying to throw the football, 3rd and 1, and I'm like, hey man, run Pacheco up. Let him run the ball. Give it to him. He's a baller. So he's going to get 1 or 2 yards. He's going to do it every time, just with the churning, how hard he runs. So, yeah. We talked about that during that playoff stretch, that he 2 times surpasses single game career carry total in a game. But 2 times in this past playoff run. The 24 carries he got with the game against Miami and then the game against Baltimore. Yeah. I'm looking at it. Yeah. Miami 24 carries, and then Baltimore 24 carries. I think his most ever carries in a game was 22 before that. So he eclipsed that twice in this playoff run, and because we knew we kind of had to change up the offense a little bit. We had the shaky receiver situations. Okay, we're gonna kind of go ground and pound, more of a balanced, control offense kind of thing, and we did that. We leaned on the run big time.
Well, the thing is, man, we needed to have it. We needed to have it. Like I said, man, I can't even imagine. As much as we were screaming at the TV, we come on the show like, man, how can we not run to the football more? How come we're not trying to run the football down in the red zone even more? And so when you had guys up front, what I think we have a very great blocking offensive line, okay, across the board. They're very physical, right? You got to give them what they want. A couple times, Andy was like, hey, man, I owe the offensive line. I owe them an apology. I need to get their back. Why? Because these guys want to hit people in the mouth. That's what they want to do. They want to catch people. Okay? They won't do that. They want to just tee off and catch somebody right up underneath their chin strap, like right up underneath there. Man, don't feel good. Doesn't feel good. And when you have a running back like Pacheco who's going to lower his head and go get the 1 yard that you need, offensive linemen just love that. Me, tight ends, we love that. You know, kind of back in my day, back in my day. But I would tell Priest all the time, Priest, if you need a yard or whatever you need, you can run behind JD. I'm going to get that for you. I mean, I love just my running backs, man, getting them in the end zone, going getting them 2 or 3 yards. To me, as a tight end, that felt as good as catching a football for 15, 20 yards down the field, rumbling over somebody, because you get to destroy your man in front of you, okay? And you get to celebrate with your guy that you was a part of to get him in the end zone. That's why at the end, I don't know, back in the day, when people look at the film back then, our running backs to score. First guy you see over there holding them up, JD. I'm the guy. I'm going to hold him up like a little newborn baby. Hold him up, all right? So everybody can see him.
Like Simba.
Celebrate.
Hold him like Simba, man.
Like Simba, yeah. Whatever it is, you know. But without a doubt, to me, man, I think your running backs is just it's one of those things that you're missing out. You're missing out on guys if you don't get a good one. And so teams think, we don't need a guy. We'll be able to do okay. We'll throw the ball all over the place. Okay. When you start dropping 7 and 8, and in the coverage, then what are you going to do? Right? Then what are you going to do? So,
and I feel like in Kansas City, it's more about, since we found Pacheco. So we have the two extremes in Kansas City over the last few years. You have the first round pick at CEH, who, had a kind of an off and on career with the injuries and stuff. He kind of wasn't able to be unleashed like he was week 1, his first game against Houston. He had injuries to the Knicks here and there. And then on the other extreme, we draft Pacheco in the 7th round. It's like, oh, look at this guy. And it's like, okay, so if we don't have to, pay up for a big time running back, we can wait it out and draft our future running back in the 7th round and continue that cycle maybe. And that's the thing. It's like, you're not gonna be able to hit a gem in the 7th round all the time. But I feel like people think, since we did do that, it's like, okay, that should be the formula. And it's a luck of the draw, man. You're not gonna always find the Tom Brady's in the 6th round. You're always gonna find the Pacheco's in the 7th round.
Straight crapshoot. It's a crapshoot back there. I mean, really. I think they was able to see something in Pacheco because his line was so bad up in Rutgers. Okay, he had to do so much. He had to try to get those extra yards, and so they seen his toughness, his resiliency. Him able to try to persevere through all of that. And so, not talking bad about the offensive line. I mean, it is what it was, right? And so it was like, man, if he has a capable line in front of him, what could this kid do? And so, lo and behold, we seen it. So, 2-time Super Bowl winner, Isaiah Pacheco, man. The first 2 years in the league, man, you got 2 rings. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
All right, so we're gonna get into some of the names we've already kind of mentioned in this episode tonight. So here we go. All righty, so we're gonna start off with our free agents from that running back room. So obviously, our free agents: Clyde Edwards-Helaire, former first-round pick of LSU, and then our guy Jerick McKinnon, the guy who can do it all, is a free agent. And I was looking at it; he's the as far as the free agents as of right now. Of this class, I think he's the 3rd oldest running back free agent. I guess Latavius Murray leads away age 34, Cordell Patterson 33, and then McKinnon 31, which is it's crazy. Everyone says, oh, it's so old. I mean, if you look, there's not really much tread on his tires because he's missed so much time because of injury, and he's become more of a passing down back anyway. So, there's not a lot of tread on that tire, and that really doesn't matter for our purposes. But, JD, when you see these guys in the open market, do you think, and obviously everyone always talks about potentially these guys coming back, of these two, which one do you think has a higher chance of coming back to Kansas City?
Oh, these two right here? Oh, man. I do believe it may be Jet. I think it's Jerick McKinnon, more likely, for the simple fact that I don't think he lacks in any part of his game. He's able to catch the ball out of the backfield with the best of them, screens, run the football for 3 or 4 yards to get up the field. He's got the quickness still, a lot of speed, fast twitch. But also, too, I think where he's probably more valuable than anything else than all the guys that free agents and anybody else that you just named it right here is him understanding the blocking. I mean, when I'm telling you that Jerick McKinnon is probably one of the better blocking running backs I've seen, he is. Like, just over time. Like, just understanding space, okay? Because sometimes it's hard when a guy like a tackle or guard is engaged, and a running back's got to be able to catch just a little bit of his color where you don't interrupt him on his blocking scheme. Jerick McKinnon understands that. I mean, he knows how to get in. He knows where to fit. He knows where the weak points are when you're catching the defensive end. He knows how to step up in the pocket to take away from like a linebacker blitzing to give Patrick space. And so sometimes I've seen Pacheco kind of, he's not as good as Jerick, and he's still trying to learn that part of it, okay? Because what you want to do is you want to take away from, the space that you have, right? You take the air out of it. So when I say take the air out of it, in football terms, it means you want to close the distance down from a guy being able to run full speed at you, as opposed to waiting on the guy to get there and then hitting him, right? Where Patrick might still have to retreat a little back forward. Jerick creates a space for him to do what he needs to do. Jerick McKinnon, to me, is like I said before, probably one of the better blocking running backs that I've seen playing in the NFL, to be honest with you. And I've seen some great ones. And I would say it's a lost art, maybe because we don't see as much of it now, Marcus. It's a lost art. That's why it seems like, well, shit, he's so good at it. Well, because he is. He really is. But going to CEH, a lot of people I seen just there was a lot of distasteful things people said about CEH. Okay. I wasn't one of those guys. I was one of those that always rooted for CEH. I always wanted him to do well. I always wanted him to be successful. Yeah, he was a first-round pick, and I know sometimes when these things are on your shoulders as a first-round pick, there's a lot of pressure for you to be great immediately as far as a running back. I think they were looking for the guy to have 1,500 yards or whatever, for a running back. And what happened to him was, some injuries happened with CEH. He's a smaller stature guy. I wouldn't say he's particularly well as far as blocking for a running back, pass blocking. But CEH this past year was able to give you something. I think if CEH gets, and this is me, it's my opinion. This is my opinion as a player and as a coach. I see some great running backs. CEH, if you gave him maybe 20, 25 carries a game, I think you would probably see a better CEH if he was healthy. That's how I look at it. More opportunities for a guy like this, I think he would do better. And sometimes when you're in a passing offense like the Chiefs were, you only got a few carries to do great at, to show what you can do. And if you don't do them within the first 12, 15 carries, that's it, buddy. You're done, right? You're just not going to get any more. So I think CEH, man, kind of the luck of the draw where he was at, the offense that he is, the system he was, which I think we were thinking he was going to do a little bit more out of the backfield, catching the football too. And just that didn't come to fruition. Was probably the downfall, the demise, man. But I love CEH, what he was just he was able to do. Him coming back this past year and taking a back seat to Pacheco and McKinnon, and able to just kind of be a brother in on the team in that group, man. It was. I don't think people realize how much of a value that was. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's a real thing. Y'all probably know this in what you do in your own jobs. But sometimes if somebody don't have the success that you got, somebody gonna hate on you a little bit. It might be a little side eye, a little, little, golf clap over here, but they ain't really happy for you. These guys legitimately seem like they were happy for one another. And that's usually more for toxic teams, things happening. Well, how come I'm not getting the carries? I'm not doing this. All right. I was fortunate to be on a team that had great running backs. They competed with one another, but they were brothers. They hung out with each other. They protected one another. And I've seen something like that this past year with CEH, Jet McKinnon, and Pacheco. Can you imagine how much of a learning and knowledge that was being passed to Daenerys Prince and Perrine? And I mean, that's what they needed to see. That's what they needed to see. But I do think, going back to it, I think Jet probably is the more likable guy that's going to come back here. I mean, likable saying he has a little bit more tools that we'll be able to utilize in our scheme as opposed to a CEH. So.
Yeah, the CEH thing still, we talk about on the show week to week because we'd see it where like you'd have 2 catches in a game and like, man, like if only they could utilize him a little bit more to the backfield. And it's never made any sense. That was like his big thing coming out of LSU was his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. And
that's right.
And everyone thought it was a match made in heaven. Oh, man, Andy loves throwing the ball. I mean, look, to his running backs, Brian Westbrook, Jamal Charles, his utilization of the running backs out of the backfield was amazing to what Andy Reid would do. And it's never happened with CH, which confuses the heck out of me still. And there'll always be one of those mysteries like, man, like why didn't that work out? McKinnon, let me ask you this, JD. So like we obviously talk about his how big of a role he was last year, not this past season, but the year before that with the 9 touchdowns receiving, how big a role he was for our passing game. Would you say that like replacing him, that's not because we talk about how it's kind of a dying art that you don't really see that much anymore. A kind of a specimen who comes in there on third down, who actually blocks for his quarterback, who knows the blocking schemes and everything. Having that third down back who can be more of a pass blocker to help the quarterback out. How important is he to this offense? And I mean, and how easy is it to find a guy who can do that?
I mean, he's inherently valuable to the success of the Chiefs. And so where he wasn't able to play, his voice in itself gives comfort to a lot of guys in the locker room. He has to be around for Pacheco, maybe to talk Pacheco, and at times he didn't do well, dropped the ball. But Ken and those guys could be in his ear talking to him like, hey man, look, just settle down, you'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Like you all right. That's invaluable when you have somebody who's a pro, who's seen all the adversity you could possibly have, right? We talking Jared McKinnon was probably probably next in line to be the best running back in the league. Best running back, but the top running backs, right? He had a ton of potential that everybody's seen. Come out there, he got hurt. Minnesota gets hurt. San Fran get hurt, right? And so adversity he had to work through. He can talk a lot about that to guys, young guys in the league, not just running backs, but everybody that's there. Like he's the type of guy that I know will go around the locker room, be everybody's friend. Okay, everybody would just like him because of his attitude, what he brought, the joy, his kindness, his craziness. Like those things are infectious. They're infectious, and when you have somebody like McKinnon, because it is a art, like I was saying, going into the blocking part of it, you just don't do things like that anymore. And I mean, you don't practice it anymore, Marcus. We used to practice blocking like linebackers on a blitz full speed in during training camp. You can't do it anymore. The league's outlawed that. You're not coming in you're just probably buttoned up more than anything else. So you're not going to get the reality of what happens in a game. They'll probably use pads, the little red dummies to kind of butt guys up to kind of get a feel for it. But there's nothing like doing it real time. And if somebody already got that skill set down because he's learned it in the past, and shoot, that's the guy you want to be able to keep around because he does such a great job of it. Does such a great job. Jerick McKinnon, to me, honestly, I would talk Jerick McKinnon saying, hey, look, you know what, Jet, you come back here for another year. What do you think about coming on the staff as a coach? You think you might want to do something like that? Now, I don't know. I'm just saying the guy has everything to him that he could be somebody that would come in the league and be a coach anywhere and do a great job. Teams would just love to have him. They would just love to have his knowledge, his wisdom to help out any, young group. I think even now, I think teams will probably look at it and say, well, shoot, this guy right here can block. Everybody's probably talk great about Jerick McKinnon. We could probably utilize him. But I think he works well with the Chiefs and what he does. That's why we should go ahead and re-sign Jerick McKinnon. I think we should. So hopefully, the growing and everything that he did is just one of those things that, and maybe don't keep him out of the league, right? You don't want these things to be nagging up and all of a sudden you get him and it's hurt again. So that's one of the things you already got to think about, man. But his voice is absolutely important in the locker room.
You make a great point about how when goes from Minnesota, goes to San Francisco. I mean, everyone knows the Shanahan offense and how that great it is for a running back. And I remember when they signed him that year going into that 2020 or 2021 season. I remember everyone saying, "Oh, you need fantasy." Everyone's like, "You need to get on Jerick McKinnon. That's the guy you need to get. That's going to be the next big running back for the Shanahan offense." And then I think he actually was having a solid season before he got hurt that year. And they expected a lot from him, and then the injuries mounted up, and then we ended up getting him a few years later. But it's unfortunate the way. But I will say though, with the injuries, he still carved out a role for himself, and we've seen it come to fruition in Kansas City. And it's not like we're not like asking him to tote the rock 10 to 15 carries a game. We're not even asking him to do that. He has his niche and his role on the team pretty carved out. So it's not like his age is going to affect what his role is, but he did have the injuries this year with the groin. Is that what it was, JD?
Groin. Yeah. So you got to think about it like this, because you're not really on the hook for a whole lot. So let's just say you bring Jet back for a vet minimum, right? If you bring him back for a vet minimum, the league is paying for most of it. The Chiefs are on the hook for just a little bit of it, so it's not going to cost them a whole lot of money to do that. And so you got young guys, Daenerys Prince, Penreen, that's in there in the locker room already. So you still got a good group core guys there. What harm is it to have a guy who's a veteran, who's been around the Chiefs, that they've done really well with, to help them out in every aspect of it, of what they need. So it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. It doesn't. If you're bringing a guy in, who's going to eat into Pacheco's runs. That's how I look at it. His carries. I think we already got a guy that's there. Daenerys Prince. I think he's a guy that we need to give a shot to. He could do all those things. He can run the football and catch the ball out the backfield. He's a bigger kid. Okay, he can run hard. Blaylock, dude, I balled with. You know what I'm saying? Certified him. So that's all it took for me. Once a guy like a certified guy, I'm like, yo, shoot, we could ride with him.
He was all business on the podcast when he came on last year. All business.
Yes, sir. Man, a little words. Yeah. All right. I want to. So Amber Brown made this point right here. Okay, and it's a very good point. He said, "Oh, also play calling. They get 50 yards out of Pacheco, and they give him a breather. Then call the stupidest play for CEH, like a sweep right or counter trade. He doesn't have that foot speed." I agree with you. I was saying that too. Sometimes it seemed like CEH was coming in, getting thrown to the wolves. And I hate the whole, from the pistol formation or shotgun, and you're doing outside zone all the way across the field, and you just catching it, heading it off. It's crazy to me. It was one of our worst plays that we ran for any of the running backs. You might get one or two, but more of the times it wasn't going to be successful because it just took longer to develop for a guy to get out there. Because the reason that is, football-wise, your shoulders are not squared to the line of scrimmage. Okay, you got to turn your shoulders away from the line of scrimmage, catch the football, now square them up. That's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do because you don't get to see, the defense like you want to. It's different running with your shoulders square and parallel to the line of scrimmage. So, great point, Under Brown. Very good point. But
yeah, it'll be it'll be sad to see. I mean, if we don't retain CH or McKinnon. I think McKinnon's probably the more likely guy to come back. The Eagles are interested in CH, and I'm also read Cincinnati's also interested in CEH. Cincinnati would make a lot of sense going to join Burrow and Chase. I mean, if anyone knows what CH can do, is Burrow, his quarterback from college. So that'll be interesting to see if he goes there. It'd be kind of funny. We get Irv Smith, they get CH, a little swapping of skill players, JD. yeah.
Should be interesting, man. But CH ought to find he'll find some place to be.
And only 24 too. He's got a lot of football left ahead of him.
My goodness, 24 years old.
I know.
Wow.
All right, so this is our current running back room. JD mentioned a few of the guys in the room. So this is the running backs we have on the roster as of right now. So obviously I have it listed here by contract. So Pacheco, $1 million, LaMichael Pirine, $1 million, Keontae Ingram, who we picked up during the season from Arizona, $985,000, Deneric Prince, friend of the show, $950K, and then Hassan Hall, $795,000. I did a little bit of Hassan Hall research. He was a running back out of Louisville, and then he transferred to Georgia Tech. He's kind of bounced around the league. He was drafted. He was an undrafted guy in 2023. He went to play for the Browns, Cardinals, Giants, and then we just signed him back in, I think, February as a futures contract. So that's what we got right there. So JD, when you look at the RB room as constructor right now, do you think this is going to be the final running back room? B, what do you think is missing from this RB room?
Jed and CH. No, I'm just obviously, but I do believe I don't think it's going to be the end of our running back room. No doubt about it. Usually, you get some running back ends. You want to see what they're able to do during the offseason. Okay, and if you get some flashes of some brilliance, and if a guy's tough and what he can do, obviously they've been doing some scouting on guys to see. But we know this is maybe some of the body work getting guys in. Pacheco is our starter, clear guy. We know that's going to be our number one. Perrine and then Prince is 1 and 2, or 2 and 3. That's going to be 2 and 3 for us. I like Deneric Prince, like I said, because of his size. I think he brings a lot to the table. I think he learned with having those guys in the room. Probably taught him a whole lot. I'm almost excited to see what he can do. Hear some things, some buzz from him coming into this year. Okay, because if we don't sign CH back or McKinnon, I think Prince and Perrine, they could definitely do the job. I don't know too much about Hassan Hall. I know you said that he's like a journeyman so far, and hadn't been in the league that long. So that's if you get something out of him and he's able to show you something, yeah. Ingram, same thing. I'm
more excited about Ingram than Hassan Hall and P. Ryan. To be quite honest with you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, Ingram, yeah. Look, I don't know too much about him. I don't, to be honest with you. So maybe you could tell me some things about Ingram, what you like about him, as opposed to me trying to, pull something out, because I don't know too much about him. I just know what I've seen from Prince, Pirine, and then Pacheco. Those guys, Ingram and Hall, I'm not really sure.
Ingram, he played a little bit with Arizona. It was kind of a surprise release when they released him during the season this past year. When the Cardinals cut him during the season. He got some burn with them. But I liked him from coming out of college. I mean, I think he was – I don't know if he was Mr. Texas coming out of high school. Obviously, the high school accolades. But he played for Texas, was a starter his last year there, then transferred to a USC. And I think he had 1,000 yards there. Had like 7 touchdowns in 2021. Yeah, so there's that aspect of it. So out of college, he was awesome. He kind of can do it all. He can catch the ball out of the backfield as well as run between the tackles.
Good size. He has pretty good measurables and stuff, or what?
Because I'm pretty sure he's a big dude, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Ghost Hunter says, yeah, Ingram had some upsides when he took over for Connor in Arizona. When Connor got hurt, he ran the ball really well. So I think I remember seeing this guy. I just didn't know who he was. But I do remember the guy coming in.
He's 6 foot, 221. He's a big kid.
Wow. Okay.
It's big.
Okay. That's good size right there. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm going to his game log from this past year. I remember he stepped up for Connor when he went out. That's why it was such a shock because they were high on him going into the season as far as being the backup to Connor.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like, I guess, the Rams during the season this year, he took over 10 carries, 40 yards, 2 catches, 11 yards. Didn't play the next week. And then, I mean, he had some rough games, but I mean, this is a guy who was probably not thrusted to be the starting guy. So 10 carry for 40 yards. And then the next game after that, 2 carries, 9 yards. Next game after that against the Browns, albeit 9 carries, 8 yards. And then 2 carries, 2 yards. I think that's when he was released by the Cardinals. I don't think – when I say I'm high on him, I don't think that him or P. Ryan are ever going to be a lead guy. I think we've seen a little bit – P. Ryan's been kind of bounced around at least since 2020, going from the Jets.
Right.
So, we haven't seen – the only guy we haven't seen anything of besides the preseason stuff was Prince. That's the one I'm highest on as far as we don't know what we have from him yet. So, and you talk about being with McKinnon, being with CH. He heard all that stuff. He was part of that committee this past offseason at training camp. So there's something there, I think, with Prince. I at least want to see it, exploit that a little bit. Yeah, of course. I say we go get a veteran. And I'd say get a veteran and draft a running back in the 7th round or an undrafted guy. I mean, it's not – they say the reason why it was such a higher running back market for agency-wise this year – is because the running back draft is not that deep this year in this draft class. That's why you saw Pollard sign day one, Jacobs sign day one, and Aaron Jones sign right away because the teams know that it's kind of bare as far as the running backs in this draft. You can always find gems. I mean, Pacheco wasn't supposed to be the guy. So yeah, I think we sign a vet. We'll get to free agents, but my thing, either you sign a vet, you draft a late guy, and then you have him battle it out for. I mean, we have a bunch of guys who can battle out for being the backup or being the 3rd down guy if we don't bring back McKinnon. So,
well, fits are very important. You got to fit in the system too, right? And so if you're getting the guy, you got to make sure he's able to do what you ask him to do, which could be another issue and a problem. So you said Ingram's only 24 years old. Those numbers didn't really, but it was Arizona, right? And we know, Connor was that joker right there can run the football. He's another one that tore up the league and end up getting hurt here and there. So competition, I always say competition is good. Okay, competition is always good. Can you get a running back later on? Sure. Okay, but he might just be another guy that you get to be on the bench. If you have a guy like Prince who's here, okay, P. Ron, and you said Ingram here, I think those guys give you a shot, a legitimate battle for those things. And I think Prince, because we have him for 1 year, unless I haven't heard anything negative on Prince. I think
the one knock I remember during training camp was his pass blocking, but we talk about that. There's starting running backs in the league who have that problem.
Yeah, shoot. Our guys have problems with it. CH and sometimes and it's like I said, you don't practice it anymore. You just don't. You're not. That's the problem with those things. And so how you expect the guy to be good if he never does it or he never practices it? So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all, to be honest with you. But I know you said there's some free agent guys out here, okay, trying to get a guy in the draft later on. Is he going to be a gem or not? Is always, like I said, it's a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get. Do you invest in the guys that you have in the room? Okay, that's the way I look at it. If you trust, we know Pacheco, we got that. Okay, he's our guy. All right. If Pacheco goes out, do you trust a Denarius Prince, okay, or P. Ryan, okay, or Ingram? That's the question. Can you trust these guys? Right? I think you give them a legitimate shot to find out if you can. And I think you find a little bit of this out during the season, right? Maybe I just need to do a little bit more digging and find out what they're talking about Denarius Prince even more, okay? Because if it's just, the pass blocking, which we're going to do a whole lot of, you better get somebody who's going to be able to protect Patrick, PM15. One of these guys better make that their job. I don't care. You need to find yourself on a farm or something and go and blocking some bulls. All right. Try to do that. Okay. Become the best pass blocking running back that you possibly can. Okay. That'll get you, look, Marcus, that'll get you paid. Get you paid, man. To keep you in the league. If that's what you want to do. So you blocking a bull, maybe run 1 or 2 over. Hey, you never know what's going to happen with that. So
if that's what it takes.
That's what it takes. Hey, sometimes it takes unconventional things to do to train, all right, to make you who you want to be.
Like
see
Rocky chasing the rooster in Rocky Part 1.
Yeah, or he's running on the beach to with Apollo Creed. Yeah. Shout out to Carl Weathers. Rest in peace, my brother. Yes, sir. But things like that, you got to do some unconventional things. Go over to Russia and you running in the snow and all. That's what you want to see. You want to see a guy. It's like, man, what is he doing back there, man? He's like, he's chasing bulls. He's running. What? Like, oh yeah, that needs to get to Kansas City. Somebody needs to talk about that guy immediately. Find out, right? So,
talking about that Prince, which was interesting, was that he came from Tulsa, didn't really catch the ball a lot at the backfield there. Now, I remember that was going into training camp. I was like, oh, can he be a receiver out of the backfield? And then that was what was getting him like all the pub right out the gate during training camp. Was him. I remember the guys were calling him rail because all he was doing was running rail routes. Yeah, and that's all he did. And he looked great doing that during training camp. And then I don't know what happened exactly during training camp. I think the pass blocking stuff and certain things happened, and then they got P. Ryan. P. Ryan superseded him by the time of that last preseason game. And again, it's not fair comparison. P. Ryan's a guy who's been in the league since 2020, so he's been around the block. He's already gotten regular season snaps with the Jets by the time he comes over here. So I mean, it was an unfair thing to kind of go with that. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see if we do draft another guy, if we sign another guy, let them all battle it out for a spot here. Because I mean, look, the contract the running backs are getting isn't high anyway. So if we do sign a veteran, it's going to be a 1 year, $1 million deal or a vet min type deal anyway. So it's like, okay, what are we really wasting here by having them kind of compete for a spot like that? And if it is a youth thing, you keep, let's say you keep Pacheco, you keep Prince, and then you bring in a veteran guy. So you still have that young guy who's being groomed. And you have the veteran guy who, if by chance Pacheco's out for a game, the veteran guy can start the game, and then he can be spelled by the young guy they're trying to groom. If it is,
yeah, 100%. I love that. To me, that train of thought, because I think that's what you should do. I really do. And like I said, having that influence with older guys around you at the time, I think at some point you got to be able to find your way. But it is something that Permarine, because he was able to go different places, he learned a lot. So it's like, hey, he's a veteran guy. He understands what we need to do. But you make no mistake about it. Okay, when a guy is in there, okay, and he's a reserve guy, he's got to do a very capable job. If it's making sure that PM15 is upright, you better be the daggone the best at it. You know what I mean? So I think Prince got big hands. Like you said, he was capable to catch the football. So I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Didn't they have him returning kicks during preseason too? And I think you and me were in agreement on that. We're like, I don't know if that's not the fast twitch guy I want back.
Straight ahead, man. Yeah, he's catching me straight ahead. Yeah.
He's fast as heck, but I don't know.
He ain't got that juke in it. Yeah, no, he ain't got the hips like that. JD, you think new hip tackle rules increases running back value? Not necessarily. I wouldn't say it will. I do believe, okay? I believe the owners got together and was going to have a cap on the running back market. That's what I believe. Okay. Takes a little bit of collusion against the running backs. That's why I'm going to stay with it. All right. That's what I believe. And they just didn't want these guys getting paid a whole lot of money, especially obviously, you know, because you're running the ball 15 to 20 times, you get hurt, then what are we going to do? Right. Especially when you start seeing Saquon and guys like that getting hurt. They was like, oh, shoot, we can't hand out these big deals to these running backs. It might get hurt. Well, Josh Jacobs goes, he blows it out the water. Right. And he still didn't want to pay him. I think a guy that would have worked well with us, okay, obviously he's gone. You know, we talked about Austin Eckler. I thought Austin Eckler was a guy that, you know, would have did well. But he's more like a CEH kind of back type of guy. You know, catches the football, you know, but I still didn't think he got his due over there with the Chargers. I think they lowballed him. But, you know, hey, you're only as valuable as somebody's willing to pay you, right? That's how it works. That's how it works, man.
Yeah, apparently they I think he said a whole thing about how they came to him. They let me see what he said. He said there was misalignment between his vision and what the team had in mind. The Chargers came to me and kind of told me that they were looking at in the running back position, and it wasn't what I can offer them as a player. There was a misalignment. Yeah, they are interested, but are you really? If all else fails, bring Austin back in type of thing, because I don't want to be in that scenario. If that's your philosophy and what you were telling me, and I don't fit that, I got to look somewhere else. So then he signs with the Commanders in the end.
Yeah, that's they want to grow with him. They want to be married to the guy. Okay, it's almost like being in a relationship, right? So you got somebody you deal with, but you're on the other side of town messing with somebody, and your side piece is out here, and you keep going back and forth with them, and it's like, well, you don't want to commit to them; they got to go. So, hey, man, fine. Stay with your side piece. If that's what it is, you want to be out on the market, you don't want to commit yourself to me, then I got to bounce. I got to go. Good for him for doing that. Okay, not being the side chick, not being the side piece. Yeah. All right, good for you. Good for
especially when you were the main thing in the first place, and all of a sudden, like, we might come to you. Just wait. We'll see how this other thing goes.
Yeah,
wait.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So
it's weird too, because it's a different regime, but it's the same kind of thing that happened with Tranquil. They kind of like, they wanted to pay him, but they're like, yeah, let's hold off on that. We don't want to pay you what you want. We'll pay you this. And they, he's like, no, I'm not doing that. They end up trading for Kendricks, and then Kendricks is gone a year later.
Dragging your feet. That's what happens. You're dragging your feet. Then when you see your old girlfriend or boyfriend, and they looking at you, like, yeah, I should have married her. Should have married him.
Yeah, I should have jumped on that.
Yeah, they know you gonna see them. They come out looking as good as ever, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, Drew Tranquil hits these jokers in the head, had about 15 tackles. So I hope in San Diego or now Chargers, not San Diego anymore.
Yeah, you and I do the San Diego Oakland bits.
I know it. I know it.
Hey, that's how we grew up, man.
Still weird for me.
All right, so now we're going to go to free agents. This is the fun part of things here. So I looked at the free agents aspect of things. So if we do decide to go the veteran route and maybe, let him sit in the backfield with Deneric Prince and Pacheco, or if we draft another guy, but this is the free agents list. And there's one guy on here, JD. Obviously, I'm a Cordell Patterson fan, so you know where I stand on that. But there's
you put him at the top of the list. Go ahead. Sorry.
When I look at Spot Track, if you go to Spot Track's free agent running backs, he was number one on there. I was like, well, why is he number one? It's not alphabetically. He's not, but I don't know. So Cordell Patterson, number one, guy that I would love for us to bring in. I think he brings a lot, and I think Andy would have fun with him. I mean, you can bring up his age. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. Again, it's a guy who wouldn't be, toting the rock 20 times a game. So Patterson, Ezekiel Elliott, Boston Scott, Cam Akers, Damian Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Matt Breida, Kareem Hunt. I know a lot of people in Kansas City still want him back. Rashad Penny, Latavius Murray, and Marlon Mack. So, JD, Cordell Patterson, my guy that I would love for us to have. I think he's the ultimate chess piece, kind of like a poor man's version of Deebo Samuel, I would say, because he can run the ball, he can, catch the ball. So that's my wish list. But the other guy, and we're talking about pass blocking, we talk about being able to be the starter if Pacheco is out for a game. This is a guy who could also show this year he can catch the ball in the backfield very well still. Ezekiel Elliott. I think if we're talking about a guy who could still pass block and he could be a star for a game or two. I think he would be and I don't think he got paid anything from New England last year, so I don't think he's going to be asking for a lot of money. I think he would get away with a veteran minimum kind of deal with him. What do you think about, first off, what do you think about Zeke? But who would you go with on this list? Who stands out to you?
Oh, man. I don't know. This is a crazy list, man. I'm looking at crazy list. So, I like Kareem Hunt. I think he broke the owner's heart, and that might be the reason he may not be back in Kansas City. As much as I like Kareem, I remember him in college. I told you my boy, one of my best friends, he was a quarterback, Logan Woodside, and Kareem was his running back up there in Toledo. So I remember Kareem back then. Kareem, man, the Joker can run the football. He does a great job. Everybody else on here, I don't like Patterson. Patterson to me is probably middle of the deck with me. He's a gadget guy. I think we got enough gadget guys. We try to do some things different, Marcus. Okay. I think Gardell Patterson was at places that they had to utilize him like that. Atlanta, they had, they had to do something before they got Bijan down there. I do like Zeke. I like Zeke. Okay. He got his payday, got a whole lot of money thrown his way. Zeke can give you a little something. One thing you had to understand is, hey man, you the backup guy. We got a star on the team. You the backup dude. Get you a couple of carries. I think he's crafty. Still a good athlete. Doesn't have the juice like he used to, but he has some shine here and there. Cam Akers is a guy that he kind of could do it all. He's kind of a solid guy, but almost like him, he's like he bounces here. He's hurt. What's up with Cam? Damian Harris. All right, I'm gonna tell you about Damian Harris. All right, he's from Kentucky. He's from actually Richmond. Huh. One of my boys is actually his father. Good friend with his dad. Okay, and Damian, man, he coming out of Kentucky, going down there to Alabama. He didn't get a whole lot of wear and tear on him when he was down in Alabama. Then goes up there to New England and, kind of sparingly runs him. Damian Harris is a good running back, man. Yeah. I like Damian. He's a really good running back. Very underrated, I think.
Yeah. I have a lot of Patriot fan friends who were pissed off that he did not get enough love up there in New England. They thought he should have been more of a focal point for them, and they never really committed to him.
Damian Harris is a guy that you can run him 20, 25 times. He's used to that. Yep. He's used to it. He doesn't have a whole lot of tread on his legs. That's what I'm saying. He's a younger guy. You could utilize him. And he's a good kid. He's a good kid, man. I'm calling him a kid. Good man. All right? So I like Damian Harris a lot. He's very talented. Okay, very young. Everybody else is kind of, I don't think you get anything from Marlon Mack. I think his time is done. Latavius Murray, what you're going to get out of him, 2 or 3 carries, you're going to run it hard, you're going to sit him down. But Shad Penny, you say, he's a journey guy. You know what I mean? Matt Breida is another guy. He's just one of those, he comes in, he does a lot. One time he's like, oh my God, Matt Breida. And then all of a sudden he's like, where'd he go? So I don't really understand, man. But this list, I don't know. But for me, if I'm sitting over here, so it would be Ezekiel Elliott, Damian Harris, and Kareem Hunt. 3 for me that I like in this group. Okay? I don't think we get Kareem. I like Zeke. I like Damian. Man, it's probably about it. Seriously.
I would love Damian Harris. Yeah, I mean, obviously, where I stand with the Patterson, Zeke, and then I'd probably go Harris 3, but definitely I would love him. He's also young too, so it's not like it's not like you're bringing in a journeyman vet here who just comes in. It's like he's a veteran, but he's also a young veteran who's been there. He did it under the Belichick way. You bring him in here, He can be a short yardage guy. I mean, he can be the starting back if Pacheco's out. You can split carries with Pacheco. Pacheco's, kind of a ginger from, banging around like he always does. So yeah, I wouldn't mind Damien Harris. I'd be really excited about Damien Harris, actually. Man,
I'm telling you, he's a solid dude, man. And he's put together. Like I'm telling you, he's got the durability. You can run the football with this guy. I like him a lot. And that's just me being biased. I don't want to just be biased, but I know what he can do. That Joker, man, when I'm talking about set records up here in Kentucky, went down to Alabama. That's the reason Alabama got him from all the way up in Kentucky. They went and got a few guys. One of the other guys Alabama got from up here in the state of Kentucky was Sean Alexander. There's another guy. Okay,
he's from Kentucky.
Oh yeah, right up the road. Yeah, we got some boys. Hey, look, we got some guys over in Kentucky now. Don't sleep on KY. There's a whole list of it. That's why we got a Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame, because there's a whole lot of people that come through here now, Marcus.
Oh no, right? I just didn't know he was from Kentucky. Yeah, I'm not down in Kentucky at all.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. So I know our college basketball team took a dump, but
I know you're not a big Kentucky basketball fan, so I'm sure you had fun with it with a lot of your friends.
I did. I told you I'm obviously from the state of Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky fan by default, but obviously during the tournament time, I mean it's whatever. But yeah, man, it's a little crazy. Should we see that? And I know Kansas people are dealing with it too. Like Kentucky, there's some sadness. Has been like.
So while we're doing this, I'm sorry to cut you off here, JD. So
okay, go ahead.
25 minutes ago, Damien Harris retires at age 27. Former Patriot Bills RB walks away after 5 seasons. Harris announced his retirement from the NFL on Monday at the age of 27. Harris spent last season with the Buffalo Bills carrying 23 times for 94 yards and a touchdown before a neck injury suffered in the Week 6 matchup against the Giants prematurely ended his campaign. He was driven off the field in an ambulance after taking the big hit, which led to his injury.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah.
Daggone. Wow.
Yeah, he posted a whole thing on Instagram. For the past 20 years, playing the game of football has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. Getting to represent the name on the back of my jersey on and off the field, getting to compete at the highest level with and against the best competitors while winning championships and being coached by the greatest 2 head coaches of all time, and Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are all just a small part of what God has done in my life with the game of football. The people I've met, the places I've been, and will go on to go, the experiences and memories I've made, the impact I've been able to make to this point. These are the things that mean the most to me. Gratitude is defined as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for, and to return kindness. Today, I'm grateful I have found the strength to walk away from the game I love so much.
Wow. Good for him. Bravo, man. Jeez, that I did not expect that at all.
No, I was literally just searching to see his game log from this past few years, and that was the first thing that popped up 25 minutes ago. So let's get a new list here, JD, from you.
I know it. Well, you still got. I told you is Zeke, and I told you Kareem is there, and Cam. That's that. Maybe Cam just took over.
Yeah.
Since Damon is not there. Hey, guy.
I thought Cordell would slip in there after he dropped out. So I get you. So let's say whatever. Kadarius Toney's gone from the team, right? Because you say we're talking about guys who are kind of gadget guys. I mean, he's proven to be a 16-game starter at running back in the league, and he's also proven to be a receiver in the league. When he had some really good year. He had a good season with Minnesota at the receiver position. And he was drafted in the first round to be a receiver. So he's kind of proven to be a guy in both positions. I know he is, kind of a chess piece, right? You can put him anywhere. Mm-hmm. If Tony's gone, there is kind of a need for that if you don't want to use Hollywood Brown as that, or you don't want to use Rashee Rice as kind of, jet sweep guys or any of that kind of thing. You could put him in, and he could also play out as a receiver, and he could also play in as a backup to Pacheco. I don't know much about his blocking skills out of the backfield, but yeah, no.
Non-existent.
Second, dude. You got to block. The sucker start unbuckling his chin strap. Oh, well, let me get out of here for this one. Let me go. Let me get some of that wad over there. Let me see the trainer. No, I don't know. To me, I think you can find a guy for what we do. You get a guy like that in the draft.
Get a young guy to do those things. I mean, you can get somebody else that's more particular to, better suited than that for those things. Okay.
You just rather have a stereotypical running back. You don't want a guy who's a little bit of, you know.
No, yeah. Look, when I was politicking for Curtis Samuel to come here, that was part of like what I wanted. I'm like, shoot, he can do all those things. Could have done all that. But, if we're going to do that, just go on and get you a running back. Go on and get a guy, okay, that's going to do those things. We got receivers. We got guys who are going to be able to bring in, go in the draft and get a couple of dudes that we could probably get. So I don't think he fits with us. I get, the gadgets and stuff. When he's in the game, watch him.
That's true. He is a guy teams will be looking at when he is in the game. I mean, he does provide that aspect as well. The look at 84, 84's in the backfield.
Well, Joe, we're going to take a long time on that reverse getting around there.
I'll tell you what, if we did sign Cordell Patterson, JD, even if it is a 1-year deal, I think that his jersey warranted. I think I might have to get a Cordell Patterson jersey. I just think it needs to happen. I think Hollywood Brown and Cordell Patterson, 2 1-year deal guys. I think I've politicked for these guys so hard that I think I do have to get their jersey. I mean, I think I'm justified in doing that, right?
I hear you. Now, hey, man, stand on the table for you guys. I got you. Stand on the table for it. Yeah, but I just Cordell Patterson, man, I think he's suited for different offenses. They needed to utilize him. I don't think he fits here with the Chiefs as much. That's my opinion, But yeah, man, I think if you're going to do that, just go on to the draft, address those things in the draft, or get a guy like a free agency, a running back that is going to be able to, put his hand in the dirt or stand right there beside you and get things done. Yeah, God, I'm sitting over here just looking at David's name. That's crazy. Crazy. It's crazy. I did not expect that, man. Well, shout out to him and his yeah, he's young, man. But look, that neck injury, Priest had one of those too. I remember Priest had one. And almost they told him, man, shoot, you take another shot in it, you may not walk again. And so neck injuries and stuff like that is very serious, man. See, that's why I always look, some of these guys need to get paid for what they do. I don't think they're being appreciated enough for the punishment that they take. But they look like, well, that's the reason we don't pay him, because we don't know what's going to happen to a guy like this, because he is getting hit all the time, right? So there's that argument and kind of argument to it. But yeah, I see people bringing up Kadarius Toney in the chat.
Yeah, it's a hot topic, JD. It's Kadarius Toney. Whenever you say his name, it's a very divisive issue. I looked at Zeke's contract from last year in New England. It was a 1-year, $3 million deal, and I mean, it's only going to go down. He's a year older, man. It's only going to go down. So yeah, I mean, if you get Zeke at a 1-year, $2 million or 1-year, $1 million deal, sign me up for that right now.
Yeah, definitely. I take Zeke for 2 1 year, $2 million, no doubt about it. And the thing is, got to be a right fit into what are you working in. I think if anybody could get him working into an organization and a team, I think Andy could do that. Or so anything else. Zeke would be a hot topic, man. You bring him here in Kansas City, man.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to see him in a Chiefs uniform. To be honest with you, I would.
It's like we're going back to the mid 2010s and going back and getting all the top running backs at one point. McCoy, check. Le'Veon, check. And now Zeke, check.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. What were you going to say, JD?
No, real quick. I'm just looking at everybody in the chat. Wide receiver 3, someone we draft. Definitely someone we draft. Guys maybe on the field. I know they kind of talking about KT. I don't know. One day we had to get into it, talking about KT a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And see what we think. See what JD thinks about it.
That's what Wednesday we'll put Kadarius Toney a topic in there.
Okay.
Because that is something that needs to be talked about. A lot of people are saying, what are we going to do with them? Because it's like we almost cap space now. And I remember at the beginning of the offseason we talked about you cut them. It won't save us any money. I think it would actually negatively impact us. Now we have a lot more money, and it's like, do you just want to get rid of that? Because a lot of people think he's just a cancer to the locker room based on the whole everything he said, going into the Super Bowl last year, and then he kind of made it stepped back a little bit, but then he pretty much admitted to it. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a very weird thing going on with that whole situation. But, yeah, we'll definitely get into that on Wednesday.
Okay. Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. All right.
All right, everybody. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our running back conversation. This breaking news, this Damian Harris stuff.
There it is.
Which is kind of wild. But we loved everyone's comments, concerns, and we always love you guys talking in the chat. It makes for a great Monday night to start the week out.
Wonderful. It's always good seeing you all, talking to you all, right? I'm not seeing, but talking and conversating. It's a wonderful time. I enjoyed the chat so much, be able to catch some of the questions, some of the conversations. I think, man, y'all make this thing really fun for us. We enjoy doing it for you all. 6,000 subscribers, man, that's awesome. It really is. And thank you so much for every bit of it. Loving each and every one of you all. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful evening. And we will see y'all on Wednesday, right, Marcus?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, bro. Love you, buddy. Love you, everybody in the chat. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the winners of the trivia night, I just sent them out today. I think all three of you guys will be getting your stuff on Thursday. So hope you guys enjoy that. JD, we had a person in Missouri. We had a person in Kentucky, in Columbia, Kentucky.
Oh.
And then what was the other one? Oh, in Alabama, too. So we had 3 different states. So Chief Concerns, we're nationwide, baby, all over the place.
Nationwide is on your side. Chiefs, whatever. Jingle. We'll have a jingle for us, though, Marcus. Hey, love you, my brother. All right.
Love you too, buddy.
All right, y'all have a good evening. See y'all later.
See everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.